Got it. All right. Now I think we are live. And there we go. Yes, we are live now. So I'm going to go here and see our little chat. Mute this. I don't have to do that. Okay, let me just. What's that? This is the Q&A. How else would I ask questions?
You could tell us on the phone.
Yeah. Not sure you have any questions, Cookie Monster. That's fine. So, I'm still working out the little kinks here so I can have a good. I guess I'll just. All right, so I'm going to be hosting here as Nature Bats Last, answering the Q&A. And
That'll do.
Donkey.
Okay.
I just want to thank everyone for participating and for watching. This movie really meant a lot to me. It's something that I'd wanted to do since I was a kid. I know I always wanted to be an astronaut, which is actually true, ironically. But yeah, when I was a kid, I lived in Greece and I went to a school. I went to the American Community Schools of Athens, Greece. And we had the great fortune of having the two children of, oh, nope, they're new members. Thank you. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Check this out. I don't know if you can see. They bring me much comfort and joy.
And me.
Yes. So what was I saying? Oh, we would get National Geographic films to watch, and they were just wonderful. They were so much fun, and they just inspired me to want to become an anthropologist. And I was able, and a photographer. Yes. And one of these days, that finally happened. So let's see, what did I just do? I'm trying to move things around so that I am not
talking one place and
yes, it looks too weird. Okay, so now I have moved the screen here so that I can actually not turn my head away. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, cool.
Abhishek.
Cool.
That's so sweet. Cool. Yeah, that's his screen name. That's Abhishek.
Okay.
You're such a sweetheart. Thank you so much. That's really nice. Maybe that'll go towards an air conditioner for this room. It's really hot in here. We're just dying. We don't want to turn the window. We have a little window fan. We don't want to turn it on because it's really loud.
90 degrees outside.
It's hot outside. Yes. Yes.
Plenty of hot air in here already.
But it cools off at night, so that's nice. Yes. Is it your hot air or my hot air?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, you're a sweetheart. So let's see. I'm really glad, Kevin J, that when I made this film years ago, I really was hoping that it would inspire people to do the things that they love doing. And hopefully those were good things, not joining the military or something. I always wanted to be a soldier. But, to do something positive with their lives. So many of us, we've heard our parents. So when I retire in the golden years and blah, blah, blah. And for many of us, that's probably not going to come. So these are the golden years right now. And, you know, if you have the opportunity to do something precious and special with your own life and with people around you, you should do it now. Now would be a great time to do it. And I just don't think that there's any way for us to change the minds and hearts of the politicians of the world.
I don't think it matters at this point. I think we're too far down the road so that even the mere reflection framework is going to prove insufficient if it ever gets off the ground. In addition, as John Kenneth Galbraith pointed out in his 1977 book, people of privilege will risk their complete destruction rather than give up any material part of their advantage. So the people that we need to make appropriate contributions and take the right actions are not interested.
Right. Yep, that's very true.
Even if it means the extinction, the early deaths of them and of their children. They're just not interested.
So Abhishek asks, what happens to the nuclear weapons and will they detonate? Well, I don't know enough about the physics behind an overheating planet and nuclear warheads.
Me neither. The nuclear power plants melting down will almost certainly cause the stripping away of stratospheric ozone. The best example of that I've seen is the fictional example in the 2021 film, Finch. And they never mention that that's what's going on, but nuclear power plants are melting down. And suddenly you can't stick your hand out in the sun without it being burned.
Right.
In a matter of seconds, which is undoubtedly artistic license and exaggeration. It would take a few minutes, not a few seconds. But when we lose stratospheric ozone, I can't imagine any life on Earth will persist for very long.
I'm fading away, I see. Putting in and out of this crazy blue screen thing or green screen or whatever it is. About the nuclear weapons and nuclear power, France had to shut down their nuclear power plants because it got too hot and they couldn't cool them. So there are people out there right now like Bill McKibben and James Hansen who are trying to promote nuclear energy, which is like, it's like the complete mad other end of the spectrum. You know, oh, here, fossil fuels are so bad. Let's go to the other end of the spectrum of badness. It just doesn't make any sense.
Maybe they think life isn't worth living without the kind of privilege they have now.
Oh, right.
So they can't imagine civilization going away. And if it does, it doesn't matter that we take all life on Earth with us because they're going to lose a little privilege. That's the price they're willing to pay. And a lot of other people.
Yeah. I think I'm going to turn this thing on. This screen behind us, because I think I keep disappearing. And she's gone. It's really weird. If that's all right with you. It's a mess behind us, so you know.
Pardon the mess.
Just
that's what she's trying to say. Just
deal with it. Look at that. See, that's not so terrible. Yeah, the problem with nuclear energy, there are so many problems with it. I mean, people don't think about how it has to be mined and who gets to be the lucky one to mine it, you know? It's really unfair. Oh, thank you, Tennessee. That is so sweet of you. Really appreciate that so much. And welcome. What does that say? 6 months. Welcome to the membership for 6 months here. Oh, yeah, that's Abhishek. He has been a member for 6 months. That's fantastic. Congratulations. You are an NBL super fan.
Here's a question. Here was this. Oh no, Dennis Meadows talks about nature by class, one of his recent talks on YouTube. Can you send us a link?
Yes, John, could you send us a link of Dennis Meadows' talk? You
Here
could
in the
just
chat?
share it in the chat so everybody else can see it too. And Beryl is asking the people watching here, where did that go? No, I think it was up here. To the audience, what topic of interview they would like to see, when Beryl and William host Guy and Pauline. What would you folks like to see us talk about? Oh, okay. Oh, Philly, we just watched the Going Dark documentary that I made in 2014. It was released the cusp of 2015 and 14. So let's see. How much longer do we have, Mozart?
Lately, I've been telling people we have 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to live, and with every breath, you get a reset.
Yeah. And L. Harris gets it. They're leaving their horrible bureaucrat job this week. Good for you.
Well done.
Yeah. And if some of us can't afford to leave our jobs, we have responsibilities. We have to pay for, our housing, food, our children, and so it just complicates it. But even within that paradigm of being stuck in this economic paradigm of just slavery, we can know that our time is limited and we can begin to detoxify relationships. Just
And
there's some things you really don't have to do anymore.
run away from the relationships that are toxic, for example.
No, you don't have to run away. You
Yeah,
just
that's
tell
why-
them to run away.
It's one of the reasons I ran away from Facebook and Twitter.
Scott asks a good question. Don't people who have money and influence care about their kids, grandchildren, nieces, and nephews? I think they're sociopaths. So I think on some level, they understand they're supposed to show that they care, but I don't know that I don't think the vagus nerve is connected properly.
From page 22 of The Age of Uncertainty, which came out in 1977, it was written by John Kenneth Galbraith. Quote, people of privilege will always risk their complete destruction rather than surrender any material part of their advantage. I think that's where we are. The people who could be funding the mere reflection framework or other potential solutions are unwilling because they're not willing to sacrifice 5 minutes or $5 so that we have a better planet. They've exhibited that same behavior for most of their lives. So I don't know why we should expect profound changes at this point. Oh, what's that? I can't read it. The text is small.
Collapsing.
Yeah.
Guy, can you talk about the scene with Roy McGovern? What you talked about when you met him? Oh, what about how he thought people were waking up, and you told him most people don't even know the
Right.
FBI MLK Martin Luther King case. Yeah.
Right. So I first met Ray McGovern outside of Amsterdam at a hacker conference. It was an amazing conference, and the people who were running the thing were incredible. It was all off grid, and we had more bandwidth than Africa. The night before everything was to get started, somebody came through and cut the fiber optic cables that were buried 5 feet below ground.
Really?
Yes. The night before we're getting the show on the road, they didn't miss a beat. The show went on. Nobody even knew. They got out there and fixed it so fast. It was unbelievable. Anyway, so I met Ray within 5 minutes of showing up for this thing. And I introduced myself, and there were 5 or 6 of us sitting at a table eating. And he had hope, and probably still does. Interestingly, he quit working for the CIA at the age of 49, the same age I left active service at the University of Arizona, because he just couldn't take it anymore. And I left for the same reason. I just couldn't take it anymore. The nonsense associated with working for certain organizations. Anyway, we sat down, and one of the people we were sitting with was an FBI whistleblower. And we got to talking about how people will respond appropriately or not, and what Americans actually know. And I mentioned that I'd be willing to bet 99% of Americans don't know that the
FBI would say.
the federal government was found guilty in a court of law of murdering Martin Luther King. And the woman who, the whistleblower for the FBI says, really?
That happened?
Unbelievable.
She didn't know.
She didn't know. She didn't know that the federal government was found guilty of murdering Martin Luther King. She, like everybody else in this country, just assumed it was some random terrorist person. No. If you really want to see how far off the rails Wikipedia is, look at their description of that case.
Wikipedia is such a deep state operation. It's ridiculous. I love how they always ask you for money too. Could you donate to us? No, thank you.
Get as much as you can take.
Let's turn this on. It's just too hot. I need some air movement. Sorry.
All right.
Hope
You
that
have
doesn't-
to read this stuff because I can't see it from here.
Okay. Let's see. Hello, John Bell from Cornwall, UK. Yes, empire is crumbling and the Pentagon knows it. Yes. We're about to experience the final driest volcanic winter, mega tsunami event. I don't know about that.
I don't know what volcanic, what was it?
The driest volcanic winter. Can you see that? Make it bigger.
Oh, yeah.
It's been 3 minutes and we're still here, Mossar.
That's because we got the reset.
And the poor folks in Kentucky have 0 time left.
Okay, Wuhan Institute of Virology is it possible humans won't go extinct, but 95+% of humans will be wiped out, and a small group of survivors will continue in a post-apocalyptic Mad Max world. No, no, and no. As I've said 15,000 times, the amazingly accelerated rate of change in the wake of our extinction will be enough to cause the extinction of, wait for it, all life on Earth, according to a paper by Strona and Bradshaw, published in 2018. So it's the rate of change for one thing. The other thing is, without humans here, there will be the catastrophic meltdown of 450 some nuclear power plants that will cause stripping away of stratospheric ozone and will very rapidly overheat the planet so much that sunburn will happen within a few minutes for everybody and everything on the planet. With no life on Earth, it's hard for me to imagine humans will survive. In fact, when the first paper came out, the first peer-reviewed paper came out by Gerardo Ceballos and Paul Ehrlich and other authors about the ongoing mass extinction event. I believe this is in 2015. Gerardo Ceballos, in an interview, he was the lead author of this paper, and he said in an interview at the time that our species would be among the first to go extinct. So I think we're lucky we made it this long, and there's no way humans will be the late species to go extinct. There's no way. We depend entirely too much on every other species on the planet. In 20 to 30 years, Cookie Monster, really? I wish. Never gonna happen. Your best guess is a really terrible guess. I wouldn't go to Las Vegas if I were you.
No. But if 5% do survive, it's going to just be me and you guys here, all just us, because we're the stars of this movie.
Right.
Isn't that fun? But isn't that funny? Like, I think that's the irony. I think people, when you think, oh, we're going to prep and we're going to get ready for this collapse. And we're the stars of the movie. So we're the ones who survive in our minds, every single one of us. We're always picturing ourselves, the last person standing. And the reality is, Easter Island, there might have been one last person standing, but they all ate each other.
I spent more than $1 million, created a homestead in southern rural New Mexico. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, many people didn't follow my lead, or we would have lost aerosol masking and we would have been dead a long time ago. Fortunately, a bunch of people didn't follow my lead and walk away from their jobs at nuclear power plants, or we would have lost the stratospheric ozone and we'd all be dead. When I realized that living off grid is no solution, that's when I decided living off grid wasn't accomplishing anything, that I could continue my work as an educator and be far more effective doing that than trying to build a bunker to help me survive for another 5 minutes.
Right. Thank you, Tennessee Jed. That's so nice.
What was the name of the 2018 paper by Strona and Bradshaw? Hang on, I might have it down here somewhere. It's in Scientific Reports.
Mozart. I like that. That's a good quote there. By the way, somebody shared an article the other day. There was a headline in Scientific American that said, for the first time, a heat wave got a name, and they named it Zoe. And I said, that's not true, because when we were in Greece in 2017, they named that heat wave that tore through Europe Lucifer. So why would Scientific American lie about a thing like that? That's just beyond me.
So the name of this paper in Scientific Reports by Strona and Bradshaw, which was published November 13th, 2018, the title is Co-Extinctions Annihilate Planetary Life During Extreme Environmental Change. And the extreme environmental change that they're talking about is a 5 or 6 degrees C global average temperature rise, which is baked in when we lose, say, the Arctic ice, or when we lose Arctic ice and subsequently we lose aerosol masking as civilization melts down. So it's really not even all that extreme, the extreme environmental change.
I thought that quote was familiar. That's a great movie. I just tried to get sorry, I'm just like getting into this
Context.
So Mozart quoted this thing up here. Where Zoe says, do you honestly think any of us is going to come out of this alive? And Jane, who's not a woman, so the dude, remember Jane? I don't know if you remember that. Well, I might. It is a really great, it's such a great movie. Yes. For all of us Firefly fans who get the reference. I'm trying to get him into Firefly.
I know about fireflies. I see them at night. No TV needed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, I think that the Arctic sea ice looks like it's not as bad as it was in 2012. So Guy's been keeping track of it, and it looks terrible, but it's still not as bad as 2012 was. So I think 2012 we might have really escaped.
I've shared this link probably half a dozen times, or the information from it, about the Naval Postgraduate School and their 6-month ensemble forecast. And if you type in Naval Postgraduate School and 6-month ensemble forecast, it'll probably take you there. But in any event, it indicates that there's approximately a 0% chance we'll have an ice-free Arctic this year. And they update it at least monthly. So I first announced that April 5th, and I've announced it a few times since then. But the latest prediction based on ice at this point and temperatures going forward is that there's no way we're going to have an ice-free Arctic this year.
Adam, welcome to the Knights of the NTAG. Thank you for becoming a member, becoming a knight. And Ingo Blazer or Blazer? We're going to have to guess on that one. I think it's Norwegian.
I think it's something you wear. Just a blazer.
All right. Thank you for joining and becoming one of the Mike McPherson's champions.
Woo.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, I think it looks bad, but it is, like you've been saying, it's more likely that peak oil will be the tipping point this year.
Right. It seems more likely to me that peak oil will be the tipping point instead. Global peak oil. We passed the peak of global oil in 2005 or 2006 for conventional oil, which means crude plus condensate. The response, of course, has been to hydrofracturing, fracking, and deep water drilling. And so we've had disasters like Deepwater Horizon as a result of passing the peak of conventional oil, crude plus condensate. So there doesn't appear to be any long-term solution, and we're now, it's 2005 or 2006, depending upon whether you believe the United States Energy Information something or the European International Energy something. I can't remember what the S stands for in either case.
Mm-hmm.
But in any event, we passed the peak of conventional oil in 2005 or 2006, and one of the responses to that is the proxy war in Ukraine, because that's where they grow a lot of grain and there's a lot of natural gas. So if we're going to hold the set of living arrangements together, we're going to need both of those things.
Okay, somebody says wrong. The Arctic sea ice is much worse than 2012. Aaron Franklin.
Based on what? Again, can you open a new? Well, I'll go open a new browser and find it.
All right.
You can't just say shit without evidence to support.
Guy gets very angry when people don't use evidence to support their statements. So, who is at BC? I don't know. Battery almost dead, Kevin J. Sorry. See you later. Thank you for being here. What did cause the extreme low of 2012? I don't know. That's a good question. I think it was just, I think there had been a uptick of nuclear energy, and in 2003, France switched over to nuclear largely, and then they had that horrific heat wave that killed 70,000 people. And there's a paper to that, and we have shared that many times. Let me see.
Look that link. You see it, Polly?
You put it down here?
Yes.
All right, there it is. So if you click on this, I'll click on it too.
And it will take you first to concentration. So you'll have to select extent in the lower right.
So if you,
and the predicted extent is for 5 million square kilometers. And it's minimum 5 million, and plus or minus a million. That's nowhere close to the 1 million that is necessary to colonize the Arctic Ocean.
where does it say extent? Click on graph.
Go back to exactly where you were.
Mhm.
Extent right there. Click on extent. It shows in red the actual data,
Right.
and the forecast is for 5 million at the minimum, plus or minus about 750,000.
No, you mean max 5 million maximum, 4 at minimum.
And this is the forecast,
Yes,
4.6.
4.6.
So their prediction is for just over 4 up to 5 point whatever.
Yeah.
So it's basically 4.6 million square kilometers of ice floating on the Arctic Ocean. That's nowhere close to 2012. And nowhere close to the 1 million necessary to colonize the Arctic.
Right. And that's extent, not thickness.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So, yeah, the thickness, we know the thickness is down. Obviously, that's
gone.
Thickness is totally down. But it's still not bad. So.
And you can see this, these are data from the 1st of July.
Yes.
Right up there at the top.
Right. Well, I think, yeah, so you guys go to that link that guys shared, the nps.edu, and then you can see for yourselves that the extent is not terrible. Shannon wants to know what we did at the Only Lover Names workshop. Cried. There was a lot of crying and hugging, and there was music.
And there was laughing.
And there was laughing.
And nobody got thrown into a pit of fire.
No.
And the rodents of unusual size never made an appearance.
Nope.
It was great. We had 17 participants, and equally importantly, one of those participants had a wife from Greece. So Aline got to speak Greek to this poor soul.
Thank you, Adam. It's very generous of you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Adam.
Yes, I agree. I mean, it's just so heartbreaking to see what's going on.
Yes, there was Yorkie love too. And there was also a Papillon that was only about 1 pound heavier than either of the Yorkies.
Right. I think she weighs 10 pounds.
What?
Yeah.
She's a monster. She weighs more than the Yorkies combined.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, you're right, Aaron. It is far thinner and it is complete rubble, but there is extent. So we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that that's going to be good enough and get us through the fall. As long as the powers that be don't decide to have World War III.
John Forward is like you. You got sidetracked on a video about alien visitation and abduction. And when people ask me this question, and I get asked a lot, which is, well, I won't even say that it's annoying. Oh, wait, I just said it. I point out, okay, so I'm the alien. You tell me why you're worth saving. What kinds of actions have you exhibited as a species that make it worth saving your species? And if you can convince me, then maybe you can convince the aliens too. There
maybe 10 of us that are decent. Wait, how many people are on this chat right now? There's 75 of us. Worth saving. Yeah, I think, wouldn't it be great if those dingbats who put us here or created us or created the planet or did whatever that, I mean, who knows what happened. If you're to read the cuneiform tablets, you might have a whole other perspective on what our species is all about. But yeah, I think we might be screwed.
It's pretty interesting. We met this couple shortly after we moved here. And she's been following my work for a while. And apparently he has too, but much less closely than she has. Because his attitude is, good, we're all going to die. It can't come soon enough for me. It's really interesting because he has kids and grandkids. And I asked him about that. What about your kids and grandkids? And he says, F them. They deserve it too. It's like, really? Your 5-year-old grandson? Whatever.
Yeah, that's terrible. Well, Thank you, Abhishek, again. You're such a sweetie. With the recent extreme weather events this year, insane heat waves, flash floods, etc., any update on how the coming ENSO will have an impact?
You know, the coming ENSO has been coming for a long time, predicted in the peer-reviewed literature for at least the last 4 years. And so when it does come, it's going to worsen the situation. Obviously, there is abundant heat and greenhouse gases released from the ocean when that happens. So it's certainly problematic. When it comes, it could be the abrupt rise in temperature that takes us overboard and causes loss of habitat worldwide for humans. But I'm not sure about that.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mark, for your extremely generous donation.
Yes. It says, let's see. Oh, where'd it go? Based on social forces, that 5-year-old would likely grow up to be a dick. Yes. That's probably true.
Just like the rest of us.
Back to, I just want to touch on, where'd it go? John Forward's question about the aliens. Check out Dr. Stephen Greer if you haven't. There's some fun stuff going on with him in August that you might be interested in. And we know him through a personal friend. So, I mean, we know a lot of people, and half the time these people are amazing, beautiful, thoughtful, intelligent, incredibly mindful people. And then the other half of the time, they just spew stuff that's like, what? Shh, don't say that in your out loud voice. But I think there's some validity to the stuff that Dr. Stephen Greer is doing. Definitely worth looking into. If nothing else, it's a lot of fun. Thank you so much, T, for the $10. So generous. And Mark Costens, thank you for the €50. That's just really beautiful. And I love the little animation there. It's great. Which domino block are we on? Which domino? Exponential domino.
Right.
It's a good question. Yes. Yes, you please, Larry Cleveland, always fake joy at people who are having babies. Just go with it. Just go with it. It doesn't do you or them any good to say, you know what's going to happen to your baby. That doesn't help at all. Which species will inherit the earth? Well, according to the recent paper that Guy was reading, even the tardigrades get to go extinct. That's how thorough we have been with this project.
I don't know why everybody assumes that something will survive. There is, of all the planets we have detected in this universe, one has life. One is known to have life currently. That's this one. There are millions
in this galaxy.
Yes, there are millions of celestial bodies out there, and we've documented no life on hundreds of thousands of them. That's the default setting, is no life on celestial bodies. Why would we think that this is more than some kind of one-time affair on Earth, that we get to have life here forever? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think that they did document that there was probably life on Mars at some point, considering that there was water there, and they found the fossils of bacteria. So,
but it's an unbelievably rare happening.
It is.
It's not that you have life and that guarantees you'll have life forever.
No.
It took billions of years for life to show up on this planet after Earth was a planet. So it's not a next week kind of thing.
Oil will survive. That is correct, Ed. And we will become oil, but we don't know if there will be anyone here to extract the oil, which is what you need to have the oil. Anyway, Musk says he will survive in space. Yeah, good luck with that. Did you guys hear that the Russians are abandoning the International Space Station and they're going to go make their own? Just reminds me of that line from South Park. You know, I'm out of here. They're taking their toys and they're going to play with their own somewhere else. Aw, Ewan. I am totally in love with him, but we're not technically married. We are handfasted. So.
And that's a pagan ceremony, by the way.
Yes.
You can look it up.
Which is where the term tying the knot comes from. Let's see, simple, common, complex, this. Simple life is common, complex life is rare. Yes, exactly. And right. There's so many interesting things that we could discuss about our species and the other species on this planet. And you know, my background in anthropology just makes me even more curious. And the answers are not always out there, easy to find for some strange reason. Let's see. Do you believe that 2026 there will be no humans left on Earth?
Yes.
Quite possibly.
Yes.
Maybe 3 in a bunker?
Maybe.
I still want to.
3 miserable people in a bunker.
I want to see a skit of Dick Cheney, Hillary Clinton, and one other person. Who could the third person be stuck in a bunker for the next 50 years? That would make a really hilarious
Fools
skit.
to the left and fools to the right. Here I am stuck in a bunker with you. That would be the theme song.
Oh, didn't Michelle Nichols die? That's really sad. That's really sad. Her son was your neighbor.
Yes.
In New Mexico.
Yep.
She was a wonderful actress. Incredible.
Bill Russell, the basketball player.
Must be. I don't know who Bill Russell is, so
what?
I don't feel anything.
Long time Celtics.
Those are just
Celtics
two names
players
stuck together. Chuck Schumer. Donald Trump, Hillary, and Dick Cheney. And we could just throw Chuck Schumer in there because they need someone to.
So they have something to eat.
Cook, right? Someone to cook. Oh, that would be hilarious. Okay, that would be really funny. Oh my God. Wait, who has 10 kids? I know Elon Musk has 7. Can you believe Elon Musk has 7 children?
Well, when you think you're most amazing thing ever, then you want to procreate and produce more of yourself.
Nice.
If one of you is good, 10 copies of yourself is even better.
God, it's just so wild. Yes, phone booth stuffing in the 70s. Yep. Michael Dowd. Oh, let's see. Sam C. Sam Carana. Yeah, Sam Carana was sure that it was going to be like in the next 2 years, even sooner than 2026. Sam Carana has been pretty accurate in their analysis of the situation. Another scientist who has been fortunate enough.
Kissinger.
Kissinger
wants to throw Kissinger in the bunker. I think that's a good choice.
That would be hilarious. Kissinger's probably an alien like Dick Cheney. The cyborg. They've got cyborg organs. Let's see. Anyone who has more than one child owes me money. So Musk has 10 kids now? 7 wasn't enough? But maybe they were adopted. I'm hoping he adopted those 3 more. Zoltan, where are you? Are you in the Eastern Europe? Uh-huh. Guy's dying. He's ready to wrap this up. So we're gonna ask us a couple more quick questions, and we're gonna let you folks have a nice rest of the afternoon. Musk doesn't do adoption. Oh my goodness.
No, he's the most perfect human being ever. We need more of him. That's his mentality. Surely.
Hungary. Mm-hmm. Wow. I agree with you, Tennessee Jed. Energy and human evolution. Have you read that? No? Oh, thank you, Conrad. He's been following you for 12 years. How is everything going to die till 2026?
You know, once a species loses habitat, they disappear pretty frequently. The San Bernardino rock wren, which was a bird, is a classic example. On August 1st, 1952, the San Benedicto Island, which was volcanic, blew up. And remember, San Bernardino rock wren was a bird. It could fly, and undoubtedly did. Individuals flew to the mainland and to other islands. And what they found there was no habitat. So they died. It was probably extinct within 2 weeks of the volcano going off because all habitat was lost. You don't have food, you don't have water, you don't have the ability to maintain your body temperature, you're dead. Extend to, I don't care how many individuals there are. I don't care if there's 8 billion of us, I don't care if there's 80 billion of us. We're all going to die very soon after we lose habitat for our species on this planet. How could it be otherwise? I don't understand why this is so confusing.
Yeah.
Oh, I know why. We enjoy such enormous privilege that we just think we're going to live forever. Just us, individually, not other people.
So, let's see, something here. Circular, okay. Ingo asked, isn't it better to introduce circular economy even if it's too late? So that speaks to that in a bigger answer to that question, that very pointed question about economy, is right action. Somebody said to me, oh, don't complain about this political thing right now because, it's too late to do anything about it anyway. Okay, politics aside, it is never too late to do social justice. It is never too late to be kind to each other. It is never too late to help people have dignity, to help people be comfortable and feel safe. It is never too late to end all of these wars that we have all over the planet, most of them perpetrated by the US. It is never too late to do that. Even if we're going to be extinct in 2026, we could have a gentler decline. We could have a gentler exit. It could be, planetary hospice, which is something we've talked about repeatedly. So if we can not worry so much about specifics and, the economy, the oil, this, the plants are burning. Yes, if we could get each other to plan a type of planetary hospice on a local level.
And remember, according to at least 5 peer-reviewed papers, civilization is a heat engine, no matter how we power it. It doesn't matter if it's wind turbines, if it's a circular economy, if it's this, if it's that, it doesn't matter. For the 1000th time at least in this space, civilization is a heat engine.
That's what Tim Garrett says.
In so far, at least 5 peer-reviewed papers.
Yeah.
First one, of course, was published online in November 2009. And then there was such an outcry from the scientific community, what, you're calling civilization bad? That the publication was yanked. And 14 months later, it was finally published, but only because 2 research groups were allowed to write responses. Nobody took issue with the physics. Nobody took issue with the logic that he presented in his initial paper.
Right.
Because nobody could. And sure enough, still nobody has.
Yeah.
They just don't like the idea of the way they live as being detrimental. This is academia, folks.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and for your questions and for participating in your thoughtfulness. And hopefully we'll do something like this again soon, as long as we're all still here.
Because it better be some.
Take care, everybody. Ciao. Now I have to figure out how to end this. That's the fun part. The graceful exit. And goodbye.